The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello there and welcome to another edition of your current affairs program on television, The Big Issue. And today's big issue, we're looking at abductions, Nigeria's security under threat. Abductions, Nigeria's security under threat. My name is Winifred Ugbebo once again, and of course I have with me in the studio to throw more light on the issue. I have on my right is Dr. David Okoro. He is the Chief Security Strategist, International Institute for Security and Governance Studies. Thank you so much, Dr. David. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you.
And on my left, we have a journalist and an author, Bonaventure Mela. Bonaventure, he's not new actually on leadership studio. It's always a pleasure on the program. Like I said earlier, we are looking at abductions, Nigeria's security under threat. What is your view on this current state of insecurity in the country? Let me go with Dr. David first.
Let me thank you for the privilege to be here. This is my first time of being in the studio. But look, I've been in this sector for a while, and I've been involved in talking to government on the issues that have to do with security. So it's not new. We've been here before. Under Boko Haram, we were here. Under the previous government, we were here. It's just that the issue seems to be we thought we are out of the wood and we are back to the wood. We thought we are back, but we have never really taken fundamental steps to stop this kind of occurrence. There is nothing new that any government have done apart from mounting. We will do this, we will do that. We have never seen any change in strategy. We're still using the same strategy, the same approach. Everything is the same, and they say it's only a madman that does the same thing
repeatedly and expecting different results.
So we haven't really done anything significantly different for which.
Sagwari Layout Estate is the most recent area of the federal capital.
Wow. Now, to my left, I'm asking Bonaventure, where are we getting it wrong in our security arrangement? Because Dr. David just pointed out that we've not actually done anything differently from what it used to be. So, where are we getting it wrong in our security arrangements?
Okay, thank you very much. I think, like Doctor said, repeating the same policies, changing, you change service chiefs, change police, IG, and all that. That is not the issue. It's not the solution. My take is that there is no punishment for those who
serve
are
as
perpetrating
deterrent.
these acts. There is no punishment. You hear about government, military arresting people, people surrendering, and then you say you are bringing them back into the army or police or customs and all that. It's like you are rewarding people who are committing evil. You are like saying, if you want to get into the military or you want to get into custom, go and join bandits. That's what you are telling the criminals. So anybody that is stranded, Nigeria must, spell out punishment. In US, as I'm talking to you, they are still killing people. Once you are convicted in the court. If you are convicted how can you go to people's houses or catch people on the road? You take them to the forest. When you get there, you demand for ransom. They give you ransom till you kill the people. You rape victims. You do all that. When they arrest you, the ones they are able to arrest, when they arrest you, they now give you a pat on the back. And carry you. They are even pampering criminals. You hear, I don't know where Nigeria got the idea that that prison should be converted to correctional center. That's what they are calling prison now.
No,
but prison is a place where if you commit a crime and you go through judicial process and you are convicted, that is your punishment. Prison. Correctional center is meant for juvenile offenders. You kill somebody, you rape people, you terrorize communities, you bomb. When you are convicted, they say you are robbery, all those things. Then they say they are putting you to correctional center to correct what? In the US, is it not the highest democracy that we quote today? If you are convicted for evil, some of these offenses that people are committing here, if you are either they put you on a letter or they shoot you, or they give you injection. They are doing it in US. It's not the highest democracy. You now come to Nigeria where you catch criminals. Then you sometimes you say you have given them training. People who have killed people, who have sucked blood of people. Then you say you are giving them training. After some time, you say you are rehabilitating them.
No.
So that policy where there is no punishment is what make people go and do whatever. They believe that when they put you into correctional center, before you know it, you follow back and come back again.
Yes, if I may intervene, just like what he pointed out, Doctor, is what the Chief of Defence Staff said recently when he made submission at the National Assembly, and he also said that the court, the justice, is what is fighting against them having success in security issues, because he pointed out that when a judge will give a light sentencing to some of the insurgents that are caught, that are taken to court, and in any case, by the time they even leave there, the insurgents are freed, and they themselves are not free because the insurgents will go after them and their family members. He also said that because of the light sentencing, which Bonaventure just pointed out, most of these insurgents get free a light sentencing, and in no time they are out. And in other cases, they still have many of these insurgents still awaiting trial, which he said is not good for the justice system. So what do you have to say, Doctor?
No, so the problem is multifaceted and
Yes.
it is complex.
Yes.
The issue of the judicial response is a small part of it. The key issue really remains with strategy.
Okay.
We have an issue usually in security issues like this, national security issues. There are issues that you need to look at. You need to look at the kind of history you have in determining how to go. You need to look at the experience you have had, and you need to look at your current realities. Now, the truth is that we have been in the same place. The strategy we have adopted over time has always been that strategy to wait, have the bandits or kidnappers come and kidnap people, or there's banditry, and then you try to react. There's no proactiveness, and this is what we have kept saying. I mean, I've been in several studios and all that. We're talking about the same thing, that what is wrong is our strategy. You cannot sit back and expect bandits to come or kidnapper to kidnap people, and then you now struggle to say, let us rescue them or go and pay. It is the wrong strategy. And incidentally, that is strategy we have adopted over time. But we are saying that if you have tried this strategy over time, it didn't work, then it is time to change your strategy to be a bit more proactive. I try to explain to you what I mean. The kidnappers or bandits, by the way, what are bandits? Bandits are rural criminals. Bandits, even in the Bible, in the David's era and all that, you have bandits in the Bible.
Yes.
Okay. So bandits are really usually rural criminals who use small arms here and there to rob and to steal and all that. But in our case, because of our history, we've allowed banditry to fester. In Zamfara state, we allowed them to fester. In Katsina state, we allowed them to fester.
Borno, Maiduguri, Zamfara.
Yes,
and
then eventually what also happened, apart from the fact that in these areas we've allowed banditry to fester, is that banditry and people who are involved in illegal mining now had some collaboration and partnership.
There are talk about
that the bandit protect the people who are stealing solid minerals, and the people stealing solid minerals in return resource the bandit, pay them to ensure that areas where stealing is going on, that the law enforcement do not come there or people do not come there, and so they are well resourced, so they can buy arms, they can have resources they need. Then you also remember that when during the insurgency, the military started pushing hard at the insurgents, and they had to reevaluate their own operation, and they mutated into what we are calling quasi bandits and terrorism. So they had a meeting point, they had a collaboration whereby some Boko Haram members and ISWAP and all that simply joined in the banditry business. Now, banditry is an economic business. It's an economic crime because you take people for ransom. When you kidnap people, you demand ransom and they pay. And that money provides, it's a proceed of crime, provides resources for you to continue your trade of kidnapping people. So we now have a situation where terrorists, when you are talking of terrorist financing, it's no longer what it used to be. Maybe individuals are bringing money. No, from kidnapping, we could make so much money to continue with terrorism. And so you have some terrorists that have now formed alliance with bandits, and then they go to kidnapping as a business to fester their own operations. Now, when all these are happening, I try to give you a background.
Yes.
We need to then develop a proactive strategy to say, look, these bandits are in Nigeria. They're not coming from the moon. And to say, where is their location? Where are they based? Where do they have their camps? Where do they have their training? Where do they have their arms? And all that. So what is required to be done is to say we need to locate where they are.
Yes, but on that, doctor, if I may intervene, we've had successive governments, presidents telling us that these bandits are mostly from outside the country, and that has not helped.
No,
Like Muhammad Buhari told us that they are not Nigerians.
No, that's not correct completely. That's partially correct. Because in any case, because your borders were porous, you have criminals coming from outside Nigeria, from Niger, from Chad, and all that. They come, they kidnap, and they go. But the problem really, most of the problem we have is what we call the ungoverned spaces. Yes. My colleague here spoke about government saying they want to set up forest guards and all that. Now, ostensibly to...
Yes, we are going to come to that.
But I was trying to lay, because you want us to provide solutions, yes. But we need to know where we are coming from before we now decide. So we have forests, and we call these ungoverned spaces. The forest we have is massive, it's huge.
It is.
You have forest connecting most of Zamfara, is forest, connecting Zamfara to Kebbi, to Katsina, to Kaduna, and then Kaduna forest, Birigwari area, connecting that to Abuja, to Niger, to Nasarawa state. So you see there's huge forest, even surrounding Abuja. You have forest and mountainous areas. Now these places, because they are ungoverned spaces, we call it ungoverned spaces because there are no government activity, there are no law enforcement, no development, no police, no soldier. So it is a space that provides opportunity for criminals to fester. Nature abhors vacuum. So if government is not available in the place, then criminals take it over. I mean, if that building next door, if there were no activity there, no, it was an abandoned building, ostensibly criminals will go there. So the same thing, these huge spaces, the hills, the mountains that we have around, once there are no official activity there, criminal takes it over. So in determining what strategy to use to deal with these criminals, you need to look at, obviously you want me to stop it. You
can talk about the forest, Nigerian.
But you need to look at the
forest and hunters.
Now, when you talk about forest, I'll get there because last week, I myself and some other colleagues, we visited the IG, and he made a comment about what you are saying. I mean, we sat down like this in his office, and we're talking about the role of vigilantes, the role of guard forest. Because I am passionate about, for years, you might not know it, but I was on air, national television, Radio Nigeria, everywhere, talking about the fact that if you have a national security architecture and you want it to work, but you must make sure that community stakeholders like vigilantes and hunters play active role, because at the end of the day, they are the ones that understand the terrain better than the soldiers and police. So if you want to develop a national security strategy, you must put these people in the front. We are talking of national security architecture. What does it mean? It's not just military and police that should form the national security architecture. It has to include local stakeholders, community stakeholders, government policies, government agencies. Before you're also talking about the military. So it's all encompassing. So I go back to, I try to explain to you the background to the point I was making. Because these areas are ungoverned and it has been taken over. So the simple strategy therefore means government should do everything that is possible to dominate those ungoverned spaces. But if you ask me, is it forest guard that is going to do that? I don't think.
Okay. All right, doctor, we are going on a break. When we come back, there's still so much to talk about. And this is our topic today on big issue, abductions, Nigerian security under threat. Don't go away until we come back.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.
Hello, welcome back. In case you are just joining us, the program is Big Issue, your current affairs where we discuss headline stories. And of course, on this big issue today, we are looking at adoptions, Nigerian security under threat. I'm not alone, as you can see, I have special guest in the studio with me talking about chief security strategist, Dr. David Koro Okoro. It's always a pleasure to have Okoro. I should know that because it's from my just state. Okoro, Dr. David Okoro is a chief security strategist. And of course, on my left, I have a journalist and an author, Bonaventure Mela. Before we went on break, we were talking about security issues. Of course, everybody agreed that there is tension and anger in the land amid the rising inflation and economic crisis prevailing currently in the country. So back to where we were before, I want to find out, because the president was reported to have said something like the forest guards being a special force in the police. So do you understand by that? What is your take?
No, I don't think that's what the president said.
Okay.
I think it's a wrong reportage.
Okay.
The president, there is a bill that has already been passed by the Senate and the House of Reps, and the bill is before the president.
For assent.
And the bill talks about an organization that is already structured. The Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Services. It's not just security guard. It's not forest guard. It's a structured, from my own understanding, I'm a journalist. I have reported security for over 20 years while I was in the field. So I know that the police is very effective in their job. The army is doing their work. All the security agencies are doing their work. But I know that in US, in Canada, in so many countries, the forest guards are a specific agency of government on their own, because they are trained to understudy the forest, to know how the forest works. They are trained to man the forest. And their manning the forest is an assistance. It's a contribution to what the police and the army is doing. Because apart from confronting the terrorists, bandits, criminals using the forest, those people also provide intelligence about the forest, which the policeman or soldier, military may not have, because he is not stationed in the forest. So it's an organization that works the synergy, with the other security agencies, but they are special agency that should be under the Ministry of Interior to fight. Their aim, their objective is to ensure that the forest is made insecure for criminals to use it to operate. So it is not the same thing as, so when they say president mentioned, yes, I know president must have mentioned it because I read the story. I think it was being misinterpreted by those who were discussing it on radio. It's been misinterpreted because the president cannot come and read Nigerian forest, hunters and forest security. It might not be okay for president to mention all that long distance. But what he said is that there is a need for them to bring forest guards, which reference was the bill before him. Because Nigerians have been calling the president to sign this bill.
Yes, because so Doctor just mentioned that there are so many ungoverned spaces in Nigeria.
Exactly. Talking about forest.
Mountains
and he said what he said is very, very good. That is good. Because he said all those ungoverned places, as long as there is vacuum, people will take over those places. So people need to know, criminals need to know that there are agencies, you understand? There are people, men and the officers who are manning those forests. The president said something that is exciting, that they are going to use modern technology. Do you understand me? So these are people that, of course, there is command structure in the 36 states and FCT of this organization already. Many states like Anambra, Plateau, Kebbi, and some others have already keyed into those areas. But the issue is this, the morale. Because they are not yet a government agency. When you are fighting, it's like you are playing football and you are not insured. You'll be playing and you'll be careful so that you don't sustain injury when you know that, serious injury, when you know that there is nobody that will take care of you. So once you empower these people through the signing of the bill, once they know that there is a bill that has made them now a government agency under the Ministry of Interior, you will see that because the bill will empower them to bear arms. There are some of them that will bear arms. Some will be trained specially for intelligence gathering to share with police, army, and other security agencies. So the clamor
Sagwari Layout
by
Estate
Nigerians,
is
what
the
many
most
Nigerians
recent
are saying,
area
even
of the Federal Capital
yesterday,
Territory
it was
to feel the
on
terrors
journalist
perpetrated by
hangout
bandits.
on TVC.
According to media
I
reports,
followed
in
it. You will see
2023
many
alone,
journalists and
no
people
fewer
calling
than
in to
36
say
people
that
were killed
police is good.
and
These people are good,
339
you
others
understand? But you need to
abducted from
define
various
this work.
communities in the
Let
territory,
every agency
with
know.
satellite
You
towns
understand
across
me?
the 6
So that they
They are
come on
working.
their, and they need to come on their own
Sadly,
integrity,
these
so that they
attacks
will be
continue
judged
unabated
based
in
on their performance.
2024.
Because if
The
you
attack
attach them
at
to
Sagwari
military
Layout
or
in the
police
Duse area
or
of Buhari
DSS,
Area
any place
Council
you
on the
attach
night
them,
of January
it might
7,
be an alibi
2024.
for lack of performance. So if you empower people, you empower them boldly so that the public will hold them accountable. You know, when civil defense was coming, these issues came up. You understand? But today you see that when it comes to oil bunkering, pipeline protection, all this civil defense is playing key role alongside with the police. That is the same thing that Nigerians are saying. This forest, there should be specific organization empowered
that is
to
monitoring.
man the forest and ensure that they make the forest ungovernable for
All right,
criminals.
thank you so much. Now back to my chief security strategist. Why don't you see that is there a synergy among the security agencies we have, in your view?
Well, like I said, there's what we call the national security architecture. Within the national security architecture, there are different components. The hunter should have a role. The vigilantes should have a role. The Ministry of Agric should have a role. The Ministry of Sports should have a role. The police should have a clearly defined role. The army. So it is like this. So, but at the end of the day, the people, the agency that is empowered to help to structure this, along with the nation itself, is the Office of the National Security Advisor.
Exactly.
Now, I'm aware that there are other agencies, just like the Hunters Association is talking about, the Vigilante Group of Nigeria. They also have a structure. In fact, I think they have a Commandant General or a Commander General or something, just like the Hunters have. You have the Peace Corps and all sorts of agencies. But like I said, whether the president signs those things into law or not is at his own prerogative. But I think that he will usually get input from existing. It's not enough for you to have National Assembly pass a bill. It's just one step in getting an organization set up. But when you look at the cost and the involvement of setting up an entirely new security structure, at the time when the country is literally...
Let me finish. I'm coming. Just give me 1 second.
Let him finish.
Let me correct something. I want to correct something. If you want to talk about cost of governance and the implication of bringing other new agencies as formal government agencies, you now have to consider the cost vis-a-vis the cost of lives.
I'm coming. I'm just
Okay, let him just make
Okay, fine.
These are my own.
Because I asked what happens to the synergy among our security agencies.
Yes, it's the synergy that
there is synergy. There should be synergy, and there needs to be synergy. Whether we have 100% synergy, I don't know. But I do know that I am involved in, for instance, I work with these key agencies to design what we call the national plan on protecting schools. So there used to be a lot of kidnapping on schools. So I worked with agencies, the DSS, military, civil defense, police, to design that plan that is being implemented today by government, and the agencies work together. And under the plan itself, implementation of the plan, the agencies are working together and will continue to work together. The issue of interagency collaboration will always, or people flexing muscles, will always be there. But that's why there need to be training and retraining and training together, working together, and blunting those sharp edges so that everybody knows what their role is. That's why I said in the national security architecture, it's clear, it is needful to make it very clear, because security is not only the job of the military or the police. We call the kinetic and non-kinetic. So the non-kinetic embraces every other person that is not shooting and using the force of the military. Every other person is there. And everybody need to play their role to achieve their objective. But I don't know how much time you have left. I was just saying that to address the issue of banditry and kidnapping, we need to adopt the necessary agricultural policy.
I was coming to that because I heard it said that unemployment and crime, they are twin. They are
Yeah, they are
connected.
twins.
So as long as there's unemployment, high rate of unemployment, tackling crime will be a Herculean task. How to
Exactly,
resist?
exactly. Like, let me come
How to
on
resist?
that because that is very key. Now, there are so many people, thousands of people, young men and young women,
That are unemployed.
waiting out there. So, when we are talking of cost of setting up agency, you will also know that when you have, for
This
example,
agency to also absorb most of these.
do you understand? There are over 20,000 young people and others, officers and men,
That will
in
be
this
employed.
organization already, this Nigerian hunters and security, but they are being funded for themselves. Do you understand? And once you give this, like I said, there are so many states that have shown interest providing them vehicles and all that. So it will help.
If I can, if I can, I know you have, but I thought if you allow me to land, so that I can.
Okay,
I can
share your thoughts.
Okay, yeah. So you'll be landing quickly because our time is not late.
No,
Yeah,
please,
I
doctor,
thought-
please
I
go
thought
ahead,
I
doctor.
have-
Yes.
They gave us only
you know why I
30
came.
minutes.
You know why I came.
Yeah,
Why I came. I know that we have a national problem.
We do.
Exactly.
We
and,
have.
and I know that we have done some work in our
Exactly.
organization, and that we have solutions that will work. That's why, I mean, you see, I'm here,
Yes.
and the guy who is calling is from VOA. I
Okay.
was on Radio Nigeria Network in the morning.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm on another station. I usually am sleeping in the studios.
Yeah.
And the issue is because we have a national crisis, but there can be solution. And so when you asked me to come here, I thought it would be an opportunity to also
share
share
your
some of these.
Yeah.
Yes, that, I was coming to that because
It's
before we
purely
end,
issues on
how
to
do we
address-
tackle? What are the your solutions?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
How
a
should
combination
we-
of policies
Okay.
and a security strategies. Now, this is what simply I would want to say, that because these ungoverned spaces, because even if you put, sorry, I'll go back to
Yeah,
pointers again.
yeah.
The kind of weaponry that is available to kidnappers and the rest of them
It's
is sophisticated.
sophisticated,
It's
yes.
not what you can use shakabula or pump action to deal with.
Yes.
So there are steps that we need to take. So the first step we need to take right now is that we can use the government policy on food security to address part of this problem. What is the government policy on the current policy on food security? Government says this year they want to cultivate 500,000 hectares of land, which I think is okay, but we can still increase this because the issue of kidnapping banditry have become a key national security challenge. So we should use this policy as a national security policy, this agri policy as a national security policy to address the issue of ungoverned spaces. And what do I mean by this? All around Abuja, why kidnapping continue to happen here is because of the ungoverned places around Abuja.
You said
so
so,
what
yeah.
you do, what I want government to do, is that most of these ungoverned spaces, strategically located, we should put farms, large-scale farms in those areas. What does it mean? When you put farms, agri complexes, and agri processing facilities, you are creating a settlement. That settlement will mean that you are going to have law enforcement, obviously. That will mean obviously that the military need to move in and clear those areas of banditry and all that, and then civil population move in. And once there are civil population in the place, activities are going on in the place, banditry and kidnapping they will at least move back. The second policy is that now we are doing a reactionary approach. We should take the battle to the camps and locations where the bandits are based, because they are in Nigeria, they are within this country.
Exactly.
Whether they are on top of mountains or wherever they are, even if our military cannot go there physically, our drones can go there. Our aircrafts can go there. So it's to take the battle to the camp of the bandits and the kidnappers and obliterate them, right? And then, of course, the third, like you said, would be because the issue of agriculture, right? Having those big farms will employ thousands.
Okay.
Right?
Doctor, thank you so much. I'm afraid I'm still going to have you back on the program because there's still so much to talk about on security issues. Nigeria has been devoured by security issues for many years now, starting from even the administration of late President Yaradua. But Doctor, it has been a pleasure having you on the program, and I look forward to having you, see more of you next time. Bonaventure Emela,
yes.
it's always a pleasure to have you
It's
on the
our
program, although
game
it's been a
because
while.
it's our country, and we must continue to discuss about our country, believing that these problems will be solved.
It will be. And viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on today's big issue. We'll be talking on abductions, Nigeria's security on that thread. And my name is Winifred Ubebo. Until we come your way again, same time next week, here's wishing you a beautiful week ahead. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.